So in the very beginning, when you are about to start raising capital, you're going to have to think about what kind of money-making opportunity or enterprise you are trying to raise capital for. And so you only literally have two options. One, which is some kind of business, or two, some kind of cash flowing real estate. You could very well try to raise money for investing in stocks, for example, but I particularly do not recommend that because you literally have to be really good at your craft and be able to prove that you're really good at your craft of trading to be able to raise investment capital to trade the markets. So aside from that, it's probably going to be a real estate investment endeavor or some kind of business endeavor. Now, of course, business endeavors encompass a variety of different things, including a startup. It could be some kind of startup, like a tech startup, for example. It could very well be a business expansion. Maybe you have a business that you've had for 5 or 10 years that you want to expand out. Or it could very well be buying a business that's already a fully functioning, profitable business. So you can raise capital for any of those things. And so the very first thing, obviously, is to choose what you're raising capital for, whether it's business or real estate. And then once you decide what it is that you need the money for, then you need to start getting these things together. So since I'm a real estate investor, I like to kind of look at these things from the perspective of real estate investing. So if you want to do this for real estate investing, that's fine. If you want to do this for some kind of business, that's fine also. But you're going to need some kind of corporate entity to be able to do this. So if you're buying a business, for example, the corporate entity is already going to exist. Or if you're expanding a business, the company is already going to exist. Now, I will warn you that there is a difference between the two. They do not interchangeably go together. So obviously, business startup means it's brand new, which means you're going to have to get an LLC or S corporation. I recommend an LLC only in the case that you actually have another business partner or another entity you can put as a second person or second entity to be able to control the LLC so that it's not a what they call a single member LLC. You don't want a single member LLC. You definitely want an LLC that has two entities. It could be two businesses. It could be one person, which is you and another business entity, or it could be two business entities. But you want it to be a two-entity LLC, or it could be two people, maybe husband, wife, team, whatever. So you want two entities in your LLC. If you do not have two entities for your LLC, then you would have to start an S corporation. Ideally an S corporation. Some CPAs might argue with me saying we prefer a C corporation. There's a whole ball of wax between C and S corporations. C corporations are for large conglomerates like GM and 3M and those really large businesses that can dissolve all of the profits through disbursements and bonuses so that you have a zero of profitability. Because as you know, a C corporation is double taxed, meaning it's taxed at the profit level and then it's taxed again when an individual who is a CEO, CFO, whatever, takes the disbursement. So it's double taxed. S corporations are not double taxed. So that's why I like S corporations for really small companies, like probably what me and you have. But again, if you're a CPA and you want to sit there and argue with me or a lawyer, you do whatever you want to do. But for the purposes of the average Joe Blow starting a business, you probably want an S corporation if you do not have an actual physical partner or you don't have another corporate entity to use for your LLC. So you're going to need one of those. You're going to need a mini business plan, which is typically 10 to 15 pages long. And the mini business plan is going to outline every detail about the business opportunity or the real estate investment. Now, please note that the reason we keep it to 10 to 15 pages is this is what we call a mini business plan, meaning it's mini for that particular reason. A lot of busy business people that have money, we're talking about entrepreneurs, multimillionaires, billionaires even, they don't have time to go through an 85 to 100-page business plan. They don't. They skim through it. Every single time they will skim through it. And so why not just cut to the chase, give them the basic bare minimum that they need to be successful in finding out what your opportunity is all about without them wasting all this time on an opportunity that they may or may not be interested in. So we need that mini business plan, which is going to basically have an opening, which the opening is going to basically give them the nitty-gritty of everything they need to do within about half a page, maximum 1 page. And then it's going to have a conclusion, which is a half a page, usually maximum 1 page. And then everything in between page 1 and the last page is going to be all of the numbers and different elements of what the opportunity is and why you believe that the opportunity is the best thing since sliced bread. Now, here's the biggest issue that most people screw up. And that is, they think in terms of the little guy wanting to get money from an investor. And you need to start thinking like an investor. So if you're ever concerned or worried about what to put in these mini business plans, then you need to turn the tables and pretend like you are the one who's a multimillionaire. Pretend like you won $100 million in the lottery and it's sitting in your bank account right now, and one of your friends or family members comes to you with a mini business plan. What would you want to see to be able to be reasonably assured that this opportunity is going to make you some money back plus some, right? Because you don't want to be one of those lottery winners that loses everything within a year and then files for bankruptcy. You want to be a very smart lottery winner or whatever it is. Maybe you get an inheritance or whatever. So pretend like you have all this money in the bank, and then ask yourself, what would I want to see as an investor to be able to make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside that I'm going to make money on this investment? And once you get that in your mind that you are playing on the side of the investor, then you'll be able to very quickly and easily be able to create a mini business plan that's going to satisfy what a potential investor partner is going to want to see. If you think of it in terms of average Joe Blow little guy trying to get money from a multimillionaire or billionaire, it's going to be difficult for you to come from that state of mind, because many times you're going to be thinking in terms of me, I want, I need to get, instead of thinking about the investor and what he or she is thinking about when they're considering investing in your enterprise. So think in terms always of, how am I going to be able to make these people money? Why is this investment the best thing since sliced bread? How quickly can I not only get them their original investment back, but get them proceeds from their investment? And if I can do it within 3 years or less, then that's probably a pretty good investment. If we're looking 5 to 10 years out, this better be a massively large payout, like a Tesla level type of payout, for them to want to wait 5, 10 years plus to be able to get their money back, plus some. So you need to think in terms of all the things that is going to be clicking in the mind of a multimillionaire or billionaire as far as the types of things that they'd want to see in what we call a mini business plan. And then once you create your mini business plan, then and only then will you create a short PowerPoint presentation, about 10 slides, that's going to come directly off of the mini business plan. So you need to do the mini business plan first so that you have the slides and the information needed for the 10 slides. It could be 12 slides, whatever it is, for your short PowerPoint presentation. Then, of course, you're going to need a direct phone number that goes to you, ideally your cell phone. You also want a direct email address, a professional email address that's going to include your name, and then at the name of your investment group.com or whatever it is that you have. And then you're also going to want a website as well to make it look like you're a serious investor. The website is very simple and easy to set up. It only needs to be like a handful of pages, like page 1 and then a contact page. It could very well have another page that could have your latest deal or your latest investment opportunity on it. But you want it to be very short and sweet. So then that way when they check you out, meaning that they would go to the domain that you have on your professional email address just to make sure you're legit, not some fly-by-night company, they would go to your domain and they would see that you're actually a legitimate investor or a legitimate business person. So that's mainly what that's for. So essentially you're going to have a domain that's ideally going to match that of your name of your company, your S corporation or LLC. And then it's going to be able to, it's going to match whatever you have on your professional email address. So for example, your professional email address might be John Smith at abcinvestmentllc.com. So then that way, if they go to abcinvestmentllc.com to see if you're legit, they'll just see a very basic website set up so that they know that you're a legit player, not some fly-by-night. The last thing you want is some email address that's a Hotmail or a Gmail or Yahoo address that's some freebie, especially if it's not professional at all, like, cutesy wootsy teddy bear 1979 at yahoo.com or something. I'm telling you right now, you'll never get any money. You'll never raise any capital if you have that in your business plan or as your contact or on your business cards. You'll never get any money. Also, watch your voicemails, because if you have a voicemail on your cell that's also unprofessional, that's going to reflect negatively. And that's the last thing a lot of people think about is, what is my voicemail? Is it like some cheesy voicemail? I remember one time I had a student of mine who had this voicemail, and he had this really deep, Barry White kind of voice, which was really nice. It was like a really nice radio voice, essentially. But the way his voicemail was really hideous and ridiculous. He had this voicemail that was probably for pickups. Like he probably was out on the town a lot, probably gave his phone number out to a lot of chicks or whatever, so chicks would call. So not only did he have that kind of voice, that kind of sexy, trying to entrance young women to leave their name and phone number when they called, but there was music in the background, like music in the background of the voicemail. And I'm like, dude, you got to change your voicemail, because if you don't, investor partners are going to call and they're going to hear this and they're going to hang up and they're not going to want to do business with you. So you have to watch all of these different elements when you're starting the process of setting up, working with potential investor partners in the future. Everything has to look professional. In fact, now would be a really good time for you to make sure that nothing weird is on social media. So do a search on yourself. See if there's not anything weird coming up on YouTube, or not anything weird coming up on Facebook or Instagram. And if you're starting to post all these weird things on, say, for example, Facebook, where you're posting, that you're a party animal and that you're doing this and that, you might want to start curtailing that or eliminating that altogether, because a lot of these investor partners are like thinking, hey, I'm going to be writing checks for potentially millions of dollars. Who is this person? And if they're doing a search on you and finding that you're a party animal, you're completely irresponsible, you're at the latest kegger and you're taking, video of you playing beer pong or something, then they're not going to want to do business with you, and they're going to just 86 you out of the picture, and you're not even going to realize why you're not going to be able to raise money, or nobody's calling you back. It's because they're doing a search on you on Google and they're finding all this crap out on you. So you need to get rid of all that stuff too and start making it look like you're more professional, or in the very least get rid of all your social media altogether and have no social media. It's better to have no social media presence than to have a presence where it looks like you're just an irresponsible party animal. So take note of all of these different things when you are setting up your investor persona, because your investor persona is very, very important.